Hi there! Today I am going to make some naan. So this will be the herb and garlic homemade vegan naan. I'm trying something new. I got this recipe from the LiQWYD website, which is an awesome website that you can use to find all vegan recipes. So I'm trying something new with this whole vegan thing. And to make bread that's vegan and fast kind of sounds a little bit impossible, but I have watched a lot of her videos, the woman who runs Pickup Lines, and she seems to know exactly what she's talking about. So I'm going to trust her judgment and swap out a few of the things that I don't have on hand, but they're similar to what she uses, and we'll see how it goes. So actually, with that being said, what I'm going to make today is not going to be vegan. It's going to be vegetarian because the recipe calls for some yogurt, some soy yogurt, which I do not have, and I don't use enough to like go and purchase it. But I do have just some regular Greek yogurt that I'll show you in a moment. And it also calls for unsweetened soy milk, which I don't have. But I do have unsweetened almond milk. So I think the bread will be a little bit nutty in flavor, like an almond. But I think other than that, it will be really good. So let's make it. So to make this recipe, I'm going to need some vegetable oil here. And I have my recipe here on the side. So I'll need some vegetable oil. The recipe calls for cloves of garlic, but I'm going to use some granulated garlic and some parsley flakes and some salt. So that's the part of the recipe that will be brushed on top of the naan. To make the naan, I'll need the all-purpose flour. So you like my little label here? I have a video coming up about how I reorganized my pantry, so stay tuned. So I'll need the flour and the yogurt. Like I mentioned before, this is just regular Greek yogurt. And some almond milk. The recipe calls for soy, but I don't have that, so I'm gonna use almond. And oh, the sugar. I'll get that just a minute. You need a half a tablespoon of sugar, some baking powder, and again, some salt. So I'm going to grab my sugar and then I'll be ready. I forgot to mention the tools for this recipe. So you'll need just some measuring cups here and some measuring spoons. I'm going to use 2 bowls. And since this is bread, you'll need a rolling pin. Since it's the kind of bread that you have to roll out, you'll need a rolling pin. This is just a really standard one that I think I got from Sur La Table. They're pretty cheap. And I'm going to use this cutting board here to roll out the bread. And I'm going to use this large pan. This is non-stick, which I don't usually use non-stick, but I'm going to use this because it's the first time I'm making this, and I just want to give myself a little bit of cushion for if I make an error. So I'm going to use this non-stick pan. Alright, so the first thing to do, I guess you'll also need a whisk, or you can use a fork. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make the oil that'll be brushed on top. This bowl is actually maybe a little bit too big for this, but that's okay. So I'm going to add the oil. So I need 1.5 tablespoons of oil. And I'm going to just eyeball it, kinda. So here's my 1 tablespoon, and then I'm going to do just eyeball the half, like so. And for the garlic, let's see, For the garlic, I need 2 cloves of garlic, so I am going to just add some of this granulated garlic until the ancestors tell me to stop. So what is about 2 cloves of garlic? I'm going to add, that's maybe like 1/4 of a teaspoon, so just a little bit. And then 1 teaspoon of dry parsley. So again, I'm going to kind of just eyeball it close enough. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt, so I have my salt. So believe it or not, that's probably about 1/2 teaspoon. These little grinders don't put out very much each time you grind it. So this is the oil that we'll use to brush on top of the naan. So this is pretty simple and easy so far. I'm excited to make this. Have you been making bread since the panini has been going on? I have not. This is the first time I've made anything similar to this. But if you've been making bread or anything else out of your usual repertoire, leave me a comment below and tell me about it. Okay, so this is done. This is super easy so far. So now I'm going to move on to the naan. So it just basically says to combine all of the naan ingredients and mix until just combined. So we're going to start with the 2 cups of AP, which is all-purpose flour. So that's 1 and 2. I guess I should have turned my phone off since I'm filming, right? All right, so that's my 2 cups of flour. And now let's see, I'm gonna add all the dry ingredients first. So the other dry ingredients are the sugar, powder, and salt. So the baking powder, I need 1 teaspoon, so I'm gonna add a teaspoon of this. So I have my teaspoon. Might be time for new baking powder. This is kind of chunky. So there's my baking powder. Need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So again, I'm going to kind of eyeball it. That feels right. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. So I have my sugar here in this cute little, this is so adorable. 1/2 teaspoon of, oh wait, no, 1/2 tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to eyeball this kind of. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. I think that'll be close enough. Of sugar, we have the baking powder and the salt, okay. So now for the wet part, we have the yogurt, which I've already measured out. So I'm gonna add that to our mixture. And again, if you want to make this truly vegan, like the recipe truly calls for, you would use a plant-based yogurt. This is just regular Greek yogurt. I actually have the container here. It's not actually Greek yogurt, it's Icelandic cream skyr. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's what this technically is. But it's, as you can see, it's very similar to Greek yogurt. So we have our yogurt, and now we just need the milk. So the milk that I'm using is plant-based, but it is almond milk instead of soy milk. Okay, we have everything, and it just says mix to combine. So kind of mix it up. All right, so I have mixed the dough until it is to this point. So it's a little scraggly, but just mix it up until it's about all mixed in. And now I will add a little bit of flour to my surface here. Just a little bit, Nicole, what are you doing? So, and you want to turn it out. Like I said, it's a little scraggly, that's okay. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna make it right. So this says to just knead it a little bit until it is smooth. So I'm actually gonna flour my hands. If you have kids, I imagine that they would like to do this because it's messy. When I used to work with children, they like to do things like this. So this might be a good time to let them come help you in the kitchen if they're around and will pay attention to you. Okay, so we're just gonna knead it a little bit, not too much, because if you knead it too much, it will get tough. Any bread, not just this bread, it'll get tough. All right, just kind of come together. So now it just says to divide the dough into 4 and roll out each piece into a rough oval shape about 2 millimeters thick. Okay. Oh, I have a tool that I can use for this. Ta-da! All right. Very excited to be able to use. Oh, that's not an even. That's not even close to even. I was too excited to use my tool to show it to you. All right, we're gonna just kind of try again. It doesn't have to be perfect, but to try a little harder than I did before. All right, so we have our 4 pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think you guys knew I was like super great at math. So I'm gonna get a pinch more of flour. And I found that if you kind of make the dough round-ish, when you go to roll it out, it kind of stays round-ish. All right. So I think that my pan here could do, maybe I'll try one at a time. Oh, and what I just did here was just to kind of flour. My flour is behind me, so I'm kind of reaching for it, but I'm just flouring the rolling pan. And when you're rolling out things, just want to like turn it. You don't want to use so much flour because then whatever you're making will be doughy and you'll be able to taste the flour. So that's why you have to kind of flour and turn so it doesn't stick to the board. All right, do you think that's 2 millimeters? As an American, I have almost no idea how big a millimeter is, and my little tool only has inches. So I'm going to guesstimate. The ancestors say that that's enough, so I'm going to stop, and we're going to hope that this is about 2 millimeters. So now we're going to brush. So I have my brush here. I'm going to brush one side of the dough after I preheat my pan. So since I have an electric stove, I actually did not preheat the pan. this thing gets hot so fast and it stays hot and it's kind of annoying. So make sure to like. Can I get myself in the shot to beg for likes? Make sure to like and subscribe and share so I can one day afford a gas stove. That's really all I want in life. All right, so I'm going to, let's see, begging for likes is over. Going to preheat my pan on my electric stove that I am thankful to have, even though I do wish it was a gas stove. So it is heating up already, actually. And I'm going to, when it's done, brush one side of the naan with the oil mixture and put it in the pan all side down. So just give me a moment. Okay, so I have my plate ready to put over here for when the bread comes out. The pan is really hot now. And I'm actually gonna cheat just a little bit more and spray and spray the pan with a little of Pam. And now I'm going to take my oil mixture from before and brush a little bit onto my piece of naan. And get those edges, baby. Get those edges. Okay. And now to put this into the pan, all side down. So I feel like that's pretty hot. Okay, so good so far. Okay. So the directions say that you can add a little bit of oil. I don't think this is enough for all of the bread. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more. The directions say you can add all to the other side. So I'm just kind of like making a little bit more of this oil. So a little bit. I'm adding a little bit more of each. So I have enough to brush. Looking good so far. So the directions say for about a minute. We have some bubbles, so that's a good sign. So I'm gonna let it cook for a minute and then flip it. All right, so I'm going to flip, and look at that. It kind of looks like naan, like seriously, it looks like naan. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because like I was saying with those electric stoves, they can kind of be overzealous. Oh, I forgot to brush the other side with the oil that I made. Oh well. Just pretend that I did. So I'm going to let this side cook as well. And I'm going to get a little bit of butter ready to put on it. So I think it'll be really good with some butter. And I'll be back for a taste test. Alright, so I have my naan here. And as you saw, I slathered it with butter. It looks good so far. It's flat, like I would expect. Okay. Yes. I can't lie. I'm a little surprised that it's as good as it is. Because it was too easy. It's chewy. It's chewy like you would expect naan to be. It's flavorful. I think I should have measured the salt because I think it could use a little bit more salt. So the next time I make this, I would like follow the directions exactly and use the right amount of salt. But, oh yeah, this is really good. I just want to eat it. I don't really want to like talk about it. Okay, yes. This recipe gets 10 out of 10 because it was super easy. It was super fast. And it actually turns out really good. I am very pleased with this recipe. I think you should try this. So surprised at how good this is. So surprised. Wow. Now you know how to make naan on a stovetop in like maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes or less. This is amazing. This is crazy that it tastes so good. So, amazing. Are you going to try this? Leave me a comment down below after you look at my buttery, dirty finger. Prove that I'm actually eating it. Leave me a comment down below about what you've tried to make during this time, during the panini. And like I always say, ignore the noise. It's very noisy where I live. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you make this. I hope you try this. I will leave the link directly to the Pickup Lines website where you can find this recipe and a lot of other very good, I'm sure, vegan recipes. As good as this one was, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, her other stuff it'll be amazing too. Very happy I found her website and I'm excited to try other vegan stuff in the future. But for now, I'm Nicole. You have been watching the Basic Ass Cooking channel. Thank you for joining me this chop and chat kind of style video. I hope to see you again very soon. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe so I can buy a gas stove or live in a place that has a gas stove. This is my only objective in life. Thank you for watching. Bye.